Hey, Spuds, it's Jamie. Welcome back to another video of Fast Video Channel. I don't know, but welcome either way, and thank you so much for joining me, Shaba.
Oh, thanks for having me.
My wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous, lovely way.
No, my face. It sounded like Linda when I was like, oh, thanks for having me. I don't know. I just...
Oh, my babies.
Oh, my babies.
Oh, my baby!
Welcome, Linda, to the channel. Today, seeing as we are a married couple,
We are.
I thought we could stay on theme of marriage and wedded. I hope we're married. What was all that fuss for 2 years ago,
Why
then?
are we in so much debt?
What? I thought we'd go through some wedding related posts, and specifically on Ask Reddit I found a thread that says, what's the most absurd reason you've heard of someone cancelling their marriage?
Oh, so this could be spicy drama
Yeah.
spicy.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't like, haha, you're dumb. This is like...
Yeah, this isn't like,
Scandal.
haha, you said your own name during the vows instead of your partner's name.
Okay, I'm ready. And if you like a little bit of Shaba and Jamie spilling the tea, being spicy a scandalo, then know that we have a podcast over on Spotify, an Apple podcast called 1-800-DRAMA. It's
All
very
about the
dramatic.
drama.
It is. It's very this. I'm excited.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's dive in.
I think you are channeling your Inda Linda. Your Inda Linda! My Italian uncle cancelled his wedding because the bride's family, not Italian, would not serve lasagna at the wedding reception. He ended up marrying an Irish woman whose family was okay with serving lasagna at the reception. What are you looking for in the love of your life? Lasagna. Lasagna. Layers. But not the onion kind.
Ogres are like onions.
Wow.
Lasagna.
Why were the bride's family so against it?
Well, I'm questioning why were the bride's family so against it, and why was the serving of lasagna or the not serving of lasagna? Oh, look, I'm getting my Italian on.
What's the difference between an Italian and a goose?
No, I
Italian
don't
and a
know,
goose.
Shava. What is the difference between an Italian and a goose?
This is an Italian. This is a goose.
Get off the channel. I'm going to react to these wedding fails by myself.
He's going to ask for a divorce.
Okay, we're going to be on this subreddit. She told an awful joke.
For real though, I thought these were going to be really silly, but actually it's the principle of the lasagna. What does that mean? Like, if a groom can't choose his own food that means so much to him, like, why was the bride's family so against it?
Yeah, I think it definitely speaks for a bigger problem within
Right?
the relationship.
It's not just the lasagna, it's how the lasagna tastes.
It's not the lasagna, it's you.
Groom was in a relationship with his best man. Oh, that is a scandal. Only people unaware were the bride and her family.
Wait, so the groom's entire family knew?
Okay, I assumed this was a gay wedding, and so, like, I didn't realise that there was also a sexuality cape on it too.
He could be a bisexual.
You could.
But imagine finding that out, though.
How are the only people unaware the bride and her family? How terrible are all of your friends and family and
Yeah,
loved ones for
not
knowing
telling her.
and not saying, hey babe,
He's cheating on you.
hey babe, your groom's like having a little buffet. This is
A
a one
buffet?
course menu. He's tasting other things.
Gone
He's gone
for-
for the lasagna.
You are a spag bowl, and he's gone for the lasagna.
He wants the meatballs.
Just like... Not every best man has meatballs,
It's
Shaba.
true. It's not about the size of the meatball. It's about what you do with it.
On that
Sorry,
note,
this is just brain
this
rot
is
content.
just-
I'm
yeah.
so sorry. I
This
just
is-
come onto your channel and shat all over it.
You
I'm
have.
not normally like this. Hang on. I'll change.
I don't want you to change. One of my former friends called off her wedding because she was convinced the guy was either cheating or would cheat in the future. He wasn't cheating on her and hasn't cheated on the woman he ended up marrying years later. The former friend found a new man, got married, had kids. The man has cheated on her from the very start of their relationship, but she refuses to hear about it.
That
It wasn't
is
about the cheating
so
then, was it?
sad. Either it wasn't or it was. And she was like one that got away. Like, she needed some badass therapy, didn't get her therapy, let it go, and was just like, I now need a man. And has like fallen into old traps. That is really sad.
It is sad. But like she's just turning a blind eye to it. No. I feel like something else is going on though, because I don't think that you're so paranoid basically about being cheated on. And like, I'm ending this relationship because I'm scared that you are going to
Hasn't
cheat.
even happened yet.
Yeah. And then falls into a relationship and stays in a relationship where she knows they are actually cheating. I feel like there's more going on there.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
Former friends as well.
Yeah. I like how former friends, the former friend, just everybody needs to know I'm not friends with this person anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that is really sad. I would really, really struggle to be in a relationship with, like, if you cheated, that's a line.
Yeah.
I would really, really, really struggle.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very monogamous, and also like trust is so important.
I think that's what it is more so, you know.
Yeah.
Not the invading of someone's panties, but the invading of my heart.
I get it. I'm not laughing at the sentiment. It's just the way you said it, and I cannot believe you brought the word panties
It's the trust.
onto this channel.
You're so right.
That
It is
not,
the trust.
That is not a word we use.
I could never find someone sexy again if they'd done that to me.
I'm still stuck on the panties, and you're just still going on your tangent. I agree
I'm talking
with
about
you.
serious things here,
I agree
Jamie.
with you, but serious things to me is the cringe level of the word.
You can't even say it. You just went, panties.
It is underwear.
Grandma's chicken salad, appendix.
Why did I do this?
My friend's former fiance, there's a lot of formers in this. My friend's
I mean, it is about
former fiance,
cancelled weddings.
yes, was a nice dude.
Nice
dude,
dude.
like he's a nice guy. Is that the
Or
vibe?
like
Or like
actually
a nice dude.
a good guy.
Like,
yeah.
oh, nice dude. Mm.
Yeah.
Firefighter, easy to talk to, treated her well, and got her a nice ring. I like the fact that this is the criteria for being a nice dude. Firefighter, tick. Nice ring, tick.
But like treated her well. That's
Yes,
like
that's
the
good.
one thing in there
Easy
that
to talk to.
constitutes.
That's important too, like not like emotionally
I
constipated.
mean, I think psychopaths can be easy to talk to,
Oh,
Shabba.
true, yeah. Charisma does not mean nice. I don't know where I was going with that, I'm sorry. Every now and then, the ring would go missing, but he would eventually find it, safe and sound.
Okay.
That's weird. What is he doing with the ring? Is he pawning it? Like gambling, getting money, and then getting it back? Like,
Ooh. Or
clearly
is-
the ring is the story here, right?
Is it him though,
Place
or
your
is
bets,
it,
place your bets.
or is it the other person in the relationship? Is it him or is it her?
Who's losing it?
Who keeps losing it? Because you assumed him.
I did.
Maybe
Because he
she's
would
pawning
eventually
it.
find it. So if he's finding it,
Yeah, but maybe she keeps taking it off and hiding it.
she has a good job too and was giving him thousands of dollars a month to fix up a house that they'd bought to live in after they'd got married. Okay, turns out dude was living 2 lives, or attempting to at the very least. He's married 10 plus years
Oh my
and
God.
had 2 kids.
Oh my god.
The engagement ring was his wife's.
Oh my god.
And he stole it back every now and then to find it for her.
No.
There was never a house. He never bought one and used all the thousands that he'd been given solely on
Naughty stuff.
naughty things. Needless to say, they cancelled the wedding.
Yes,
No.
needless to say. That is horrifying. I was watching a program called Love Cheats.
Of course you were. Of
And
course
there
you
was a
were.
very
It's the
similar
exact
story.
kind of program.
Yeah.
That this what
There
you
was a
would
very
watch.
similar story to this.
Whoa.
Where he said he was a firefighter, went into this relationship, and then ended up being married to somebody else
Maybe
with
it
kids.
is.
But he wasn't actually a firefighter.
Oh.
So they're still calling him a firefighter. I have one confusion. I feel very bad for her. This is a horrible situation. He sounds like a horrible person. Very wrong,
Absolutely.
bad behaviour. The whole like thousands of dollars a month to fix up a house they had bought to live in after they'd gotten married. But you never saw it. If I was in a relationship with somebody to get married and this was going to be our home together, I'd want to see it. Especially if I was paying money into it.
I hear you.
I would really have a question of like, please take me to see this magnificent home we will be abiding in.
And
Is that the
of
right
this
word?
renovations that we are doing, like surely I could have an input in the paint colours and
Yeah.
the design choices, so I would need to see
Yeah.
it. I'm with you. I'm
Exactly.
with you. The most horrifying part of this, we're taking it on face value, is the fact that I would be wearing a ring sharing with another one. I imagine
That would
the
feel
feeling
so
of being
icky.
like, yeah. And if
Yeah.
the OG wife finds out, being like, that's
I
where
bet
it's
you
gone.
she did.
This is like Hannah Montana, but where
Yeah.
Hannah Montana is a piece of jewelry. You know?
I thought you were going to say, this is like Hannah Montana, but where Hannah Montana is a piece of shit man.
That
That too.
Yeah, that too. But you know that scene in the movie where she's like going to the restaurant to have her little lobster date and then going back and
Yes.
then the
Yeah.
revolving door.
Yeah, and then
Is
isn't-
that but the
doesn't
ring?
she do that for like a birthday party or something as well?
Oh, she does it like every episode,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
the whole
yeah.
point of Hannah Montana.
I do feel horrified.
That people can
For
do this.
both women.
Cool.
Jamie loves a good juicy murder. It's not even murder, like detective mystery.
I like true crime.
True crime. That's
Yeah.
the word. True crime. I do this because not all of it is actually true crime. A lot of it is just like so and so swindled so and so. It's like
That's
how did you
crime.
not see it coming though?
Yes, I know.
I'm like how, especially with these romance scams.
I hear you.
At what point, you know, are we kind of saying that maybe you are a little bit accountable? If you're giving thousands and thousands a month to fix up a house that you've not seen,
Yeah.
and your ring is going this missing, and you don't realise that, like, the father, active father of 2 kids, and you just don't know.
When you watch shows like Love Cheats, it's a growing scale.
There are
so it's
some.
like smaller
Yeah.
things. They're really, really good at getting your trust, making you think that they're all this and all that, and there's very specific reasons as to why this can't happen and that can't happen and this keeps happening. And because you've fallen in love with this person and you trust them,
Maybe I'm just too jaded. I
yeah.
always see that first. Well, I understand it. And
Oh,
like,
no,
we have also fallen victim to scams.
Yeah.
You know, like of like tradesmen
There's-
in particular, and been like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's so dumb. Now that I'm saying it here,
Yeah,
being
and
at this
you
point,
tell everybody the story
and
of
you're
it
like,
all together.
and they're like, how didn't you know?
But when
I
it
get
happens
it.
to you over like 6 months, it's like, oh, but it all felt very drip fed. Yeah.
It starts with a cookie. That's what they say, right? But that first cookie.
A crumb is as bad as a
Sometimes you
slice.
look and you're like, really though?
That's a suspicious cookie.
Really?
Yeah.
You know not to touch the fluffy cookie. This is a fluffy cookie.
He's a fluffy cookie. A piece of shit fluffy
Piece of
cookie.
shit fluffy cookie for sure. Ooh.
I do think some people are very trusting though, and you are not.
Trusting.
You are.
I'm
The
very
thing is,
good.
like, I know where your head's coming from because you are very cynical about people.
I'm just saying, like, just imagine for a second, right? You had the task of having a wife and 2 kids and stealing the ring.
Is she like this? And you're just like, oh, let me just take. Oh, it's okay, darling. Is that? I just need to clean it. I can't even take mine off properly. I
It
don't.
would be easier.
You'd be able to tell.
Maybe she takes it off when she washes up or something.
Sorry.
So smooth, so smooth.
I need this for my other wife.
It is bizarre.
I wouldn't have the headspace to keep with it.
And like, surely someone else would know, like this level of double lifing.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a very, like you live in different states and it's a long time
You'd need
relationship.
to have like a very specific job. And could you have a job and
like a
keep up with this?
firefighter is not that kind of job.
No, on the Love Cheat one, the firefighter ruse meant that he was like working night shifts. So he would spend the day with her and then work shifts. And then he'd go home
but
to
then
his
when does he
family.
sleep?
He goes home to his family in the evening, has dinner with them, sleeps, and then goes back to her in the morning when his shift is over.
Yeah, sure. And then so from her point of view, she's like, oh, my
Well,
baby,
I mean-
you've been in a sweltering fire all evening
They
and
don't-
now we're going out to date all day. Like, when do you sleep?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be from like 9 a.m. It would be from like the afternoon. So he just slept in that morning bit.
But he's sleeping at night because he's not a firefighter, Jamie.
Yeah, so he's not actually sleeping in the morning. He's
So
just
then-
telling her he's
So
sleeping.
then when is he working?
And look, I can tell you wouldn't be able to keep up with this kind of lie. Because you can't even figure it out.
It would be so much easier if you just bought a different ring. Like, you can get one for like £5 and you can say, hey, I got you a pricey ring.
Well,
you can make a fake certificate.
you know,
That'd be easier than changing the same ring on the finger, the rings.
Pieces of shit tend to be cheapskates. Plus, he was swindling her for money. He wasn't about to spend money on a nice ring. He
That
could have taken
that
like
profit margin.
he could have
taken
taken
a bit
like
of a hit,
half
you know?
of that and bought a ring just to cover his butt.
Half of the thousands and thousands. He could have bought one for like £10.
No, to make it.
Claire's accessories.
She maybe is a jeweler.
All this to say, though, of course, the real piece of shit in the story is the man. I'm just saying, like, found that one a little bit hard to believe.
The best man said in his speech that he slept with the bride about 2 weeks before the wedding. Why are the best men so problematic? They're not very best. All hell broke loose. The groom demanded that the marriage be cancelled. It took a few days to get the truth out and for the groom to finally listen. The best man thought it would be a great prank. What the? The groom is apologetic to the bride, but she didn't forgive him because he believed in others' lies and wouldn't let her talk. So the best man literally totally
Ruined the wedding.
ruined their not just the wedding, but their relationship.
No, I'm sorry.
You think there was something...
Just like I was saying beforehand, you know, like, you should have known. You shouldn't have had to have known. People should not have been sabotaging you in the first place. Similar with this. All right, the best man made a poor joke. I hear you. But if the groom is not even listening to the bride, if you're not even going to listen,
Yeah.
that is a problem. The groom ruined that wedding. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, and wouldn't let her talk because it's saying it took a few days to get the truth out as well. So it wasn't like best man fessed up to it being a prank immediately either. It took a few days for the best man to say this was a joke and for the groom to finally listen.
I'm sure, like, when that actually happened, the best man would have been like, dude, it was a joke. But he's just clearly not listening to anyone.
God. I would listen. Yeah, I don't know if I would break up with somebody though for believing it temporarily.
But,
I don't
like,
know how it would make me feel.
Imagine if you had caused that ruckus at our wedding. Or put it on me. Say it was whoever's speech for whatever and said
Yeah.
that I was cheating. Imagine if that happened and was fake, but you had created such a scene that the wedding was actually cancelled.
Ah.
Do you see what I mean? Like, that's
Right.
a horrible position to
Under
be put in,
any
to be
other,
like, whoa.
if he had just taken a step back, all the
listen.
heat would have been on the best man because it was an awful joke.
Yeah.
But maybe it was going to be concluded with and I didn't really sleep with her.
But also, I'd be like, really? You really think I would do that?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you would have believed it that much to have cancelled our wedding
Yeah.
is a lot.
Without even speaking to you.
Do you know
Okay,
what I mean?
I hear
Like,
that.
I feel like this is the lasagna principle again. I feel like it talks greater into issues that you had as a couple
Yeah.
to not be able to work that out.
Bad
And
communication.
All I'm saying is I don't blame the bride for not forgiving him
Right.
afterwards. But yes, the best man did something a bit shitty, and that was a bit shitty, quite shitty. That was not a good joke. Ha 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 ha! Adultery. But
But I want to know if at the wedding, when this was said and the groom was like, what the hell? If the best man was then like, it's a joke. But the groom was already like, I'm not listening. You've said it. That's what I believe. Goodbye, everybody. I'm not listening to what anyone else has to say. Or is it that the groom got upset and the best man didn't clarify that it was a joke? I don't know.
If that had happened and I was like, Jamie, I didn't sleep with your best mate Alex. Do you know what I mean? Like, you would be like, okay. If you genuinely didn't believe me or didn't even listen to me, that speaks to a problem in our relationship.
Yeah, I hear that.
Damn though.
Woof.
My brother called it off on the morning of the wedding. She was incredibly controlling, faked a pregnancy, and didn't want to meet any of his family, even though she lived a mile away.
You can walk that.
Her mother got her to cancel the reception hall a week before because she wanted it at her house. Loads of people dropped out and my brother felt the pressure. I thank the universe that he called it off. I doubt I would have seen him again. I wish he didn't do it on the day though.
Yeah, could have done it a little bit earlier.
Wow, but you know what? Good on your brother. I'm so glad that he found the courage to do that and make the right move for him, and that he had a wonderful support system to be able to allow him to like see the light and
something must have happened on that morning that like it clicked for him. He saw it.
It is a scary moment, don't you think? The wedding morning, like that bit when you're not together.
I was like, what did you realise?
I've been with you for 10 years when we married.
Yeah,
like we've
11.
literally been together over a decade.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a big step, this, isn't it? Did you not feel that?
No.
No.
I was excited.
Yeah, I mean,
I had a much calmer morning than you, though.
I was also excited. I was just overwhelmed with a lot of feelings, and it's a lot of feelings as well.
You ugly cried.
I did ugly cry. It's a lot of feelings to be alone with. Like when your partner is the one that you're normally like, okay, we need to talk this through, and you literally haven't seen each other before the biggest thing that you're about to do legally, or so they say. It's one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Scary wary.
Was there any part of you that was scared I wouldn't be there?
No, not even a little bit.
Same. I was like, literally didn't even cross my mind as a concern that you wouldn't be walking down that aisle. And you weren't even late. I was so impressed.
I'd be late for my own wedding.
Well,
It's my mum that's late, not me.
yeah, but your mum was getting ready with you.
I left her. Legit. I was like, if you're not in the car this time, I arranged a lift with some other friends. And the time came and I was like, I'm getting in that car. And we did, and we left. And then my mum came behind
But
later.
Your mum was on time as well.
I mean, she wasn't on time, but she wasn't as late as she normally was.
From my perspective,
Sure,
she was on time in the venue.
Yeah.
Because she was sat in her seat before you were to walk down,
Yeah.
which was on time.
Yeah.
My cousin called it off 3 days in advance because the bride and groom couldn't agree on whether to hyphenate their last names or use his. In retrospect, there was a significant class/culture divide, of which that was merely one symptom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know, I thought these were going to be super trivial, but they actually all, like, they need a therapist episode.
Yeah, like even the ones that are trivial, like if it didn't
Like
have
this.
this last sentence, I wouldn't have guessed class/cult. Maybe culture, I would have said like there's something more going on here where this couple is clashing.
I wouldn't have guessed class, but
Yeah.
I can sort of see it,
Yeah, like carrying on the bloodline
Yes,
type
the
vibe.
heritage.
Yes,
We must carry on.
it's probably going to be from like the groom's family. Like,
We need your name.
Smith Banana cannot take on the family home.
it is only banana. You thought I was going to say Smith.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, at least it was 3 days in advance. But, like, clearly there was a necessity for this wedding not to happen anyway. But imagine that being the reason. Like, having to call everybody and be like, we're not getting married. We just had a major argument about last names and whether to hyphenate.
But that's the straw that broke the camel's back.
It is. That piece of straw.
That broke the camel/llama's back. It came to a head, and I realised that this was too much. You wouldn't actually be like, oh, it's because of the names.
Well, it depends on if you understand that it was deeper than that. Because actually quite often, and especially when it causes a separation or a big argument, it's not uncommon for one person to be like, oh my god, it's because I didn't fill the dishwasher last night and she's literally broken up with me over it. But actually from her perspective, it's you're a lazy
didn't
slob.
listen to me. I've worked all this time. I've asked you for your support. All I wanted was a dishwasher, Keith.
Yeah, Keith. So I bet you this was maybe one person is like, it's because he didn't want to take my last name in a hyphen. But he's like, no, it's because there's so many issues in our relationship and this just epitomized them. Ugh.
My mum was engaged to be married to her high school sweetheart. Let's call him Bob. Bob went to her doorstep 2 weeks before their wedding and told her he had joined the military and wasn't ready for marriage. That was
Prawn
prawn the cat being
doesn't
like,
agree.
"Wow." He flew to Germany the next day. Fast forward 30 years and 2 divorces later. What? My mum was single with 5 kids from 2 marriages. She runs into her old high school sweetheart Bob. Oh, so the 2 people she married wasn't Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, she runs into her old high school sweetheart Bob. He's also single and recently divorced. They fall in love and have been together ever since. Spoiler alert, Bob is actually his name.
And hers is actually Linda.
I like that spoiler alert. It's like, here is this really tiny, totally insignificant thing.
Bob is like the most classic made up name. Like Bob, Fred, John. one.
Imagine if someone was saying the story, oh, somebody was eating an apple and then they were murdered by a killer bumblebee. Spoiler alert, it wasn't an apple, it was a carrot. I
Yeah,
can't believe I just
maybe-
had to over-explain the joke.
But they did just put it in as a joke.
This is really cute though.
This is cute. I don't think this belongs in this forum. This is a cute one.
Before the wedding,
Yeah.
he cancelled the
They
wedding.
were just engaged. Oh, 2 weeks before their wedding and told her
Yeah.
he joined the military and wasn't
Yeah.
ready for marriage.
I do think that kind of sucks, but I don't think that's like what was the title of this? Outrageous reasons. What we doing?
Oh, absurd reason.
Yeah, absurd reasons. I don't think it's an absurd reason. You weren't ready, babe. I get it. It happens.
I mean, you could have decided longer than 2 weeks before.
Absolutely.
I would definitely need 30 years to get over that rejection.
yeah. I
You
also
know,
think
give me a
like,
bit of space, babe.
joining the military is like a massive version
I'm-
of dyeing
I'm
your hair and
not-
buying yourself
yeah.
a pink bicycle
Not
with tassels.
only am I not marrying you and I'm not ready for marriage, I'm running away to the army.
Calling
Yeah.
yourself a hot mess without calling yourself a hot mess. That is a way
Bob.
to run away from your problems, blub.
Blub.
I don't know why. It was a bit of a blob, but he has
Deblobbified.
redeemed himself.
Oh.
He has redeemed.
Maybe he also rejuvenated.
The military sounds
where you go to
particularly
rejuvenate.
rejuvenating,
Yeah,
but
that is
yeah,
a fair
maybe
point.
Bob.
They did nothing. They picked a date, sent mails with it to invite people, and then did nothing until a week before said date. Who does that? I mean, I've known some people leave things quite late, but a week before, of course, they could not rent the venue they wanted nor find another one. They couldn't find a caterer, dresses, etc. on time, but also legally, they couldn't get married in such short notice, of course, because you have to give notice.
Notice of marriage.
Yeah. So they cancelled the wedding and will get married later. It's been 5 years. They're still not married. I feel like there's something else going on here, but my brain is like, well, at least they didn't pay money aside from mailing out the invites.
There are some people in our lives, right?
Who
that
I
I'm
could
like,
see doing this.
I don't know how you have survived to get to the point where you are right now.
How did you survive
And
through
I
to
could
adult?
totally see them doing this. I'm like, I don't understand how you have food in your fridge with like the level of like scatty-headedness that I see from you.
So how do you just go, we're going to get married on the 28th of October.
Feel like this is the date.
Send out the invite. How
You
do you
can't send
invite
an
people when
invite.
you don't know where it is?
Or the times.
Or the dress code?
But maybe it was an invite. Maybe it was a save the date. So they did a save the date.
But
and
then
5
they
years
forgot
later,
to save the date themselves.
They needed a new save the date.
It's silly.
It's silly.
It's
It's
silly.
giving ADHD.
It is,
No, it's actually not.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like
can
that's
say that
mean
'cause
to
I have
people with ADHD. Yeah.
like, no, I'm just saying, like, I could totally see this being a thing and be like, oh, yeah, hang on, that was supposed to be a big thing. I often do this when I'm like, yes, I'm gearing up for this really important personal project.
Yeah.
And then the date passes
But
and I'm
I-
like, I was supposed to release my music video. Whoops.
See, yeah, but with stuff like this level, you're more likely to over panic, over organize, and plan too much than you are to just not do anything.
With a wedding, yeah, for sure. But I think it's kind of cute, though.
What is cute,
Hear
Shabba?
me out.
No.
I think it's kind of cute that marriage wasn't so important to them. Like, they're still
You
together.
don't know why they're not getting married.
It's been 5 years, they're still not married. It's not because they're divorced.
No,
You
you
know,
have to
they're
get
just like-
married to get divorced.
It's like, it doesn't mean that they're not together. I think they're just like, oops, it happened. Okay,
Yeah,
well, I
well,
guess that's not happening right now.
Maybe they were only like getting married because of pressure from other people.
Or maybe because they were like, this is just something that we need to do, and then life just got in the way, and they're having a grand old time, and they're like, yeah, sure, marriage, just on the to-do list one day. Yeah,
But-
skydive, swim with sharks, marriage, yeah.
Yeah, but then they did try and do stuff a week before
And then they were like, oh wait, we can't.
because we've left it too late.
But I will say, like, this whole, like, nobody tells you, people need to tell you this in school, this whole, like, giving notice of marriage. You actually don't know that that's what you need to do. Like, I always
Yeah.
assumed as well that you could get married anywhere. No.
Yeah, with anyone, as in by anyone.
Yeah. No, I knew that's what you meant, but
Yeah.
I can see how that could
Yeah, there's only certain locations where you can legally get married.
If friends made me think all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, I wonder how many stats there are of people not marrying because they didn't know to do notice of
Oh.
marriage. PSA, if you're wanting to get married, notice of marriage, people.
At least in the UK, I don't know what it's like
Yeah.
elsewhere. But to be fair, at least they didn't do everything but notice of marriage. Because imagine if they planned an entire wedding, which is fine. They could have just done
And
a
you know what?
celebrant.
That's what I'm saying. You just get your friends
But-
together and you not pretend. You have your
Yeah.
wedding.
But if it's
'Cause, like,
important to them to legally get married, then that would have been a bummer.
and then you go and do your wedmin day, wedmin,
Wedmin.
the actual legal certificate, on a different day.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Is it?
Why? Is that a secret?
I don't think we've said it, but yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most absurd reasons I've heard of someone cancelling their marriage was because the groom insisted on wearing a costume from his favourite superhero movie to the wedding. The bride had envisaged a traditional and elegant wedding, but the groom was adamant about walking down the aisle dressed as a fictional character.
Okay, it totally depends on the character, because if you're like, hey babe, it's my dream to walk down the aisle as Mr. Blobby, I'd be like, let's have a chat.
Those were some mouth noises.
But if it was like, I want to be
Where the people are.
Doctor Who, I'd be like,
Right.
I could get on board.
What if I wanted to be in those inflatable T-Rex costumes, and I walk down the aisle to the Jurassic Park theme tune.
Do you know what then? We could have our little ceremony bit doing that, and then maybe there could be a moment where you like zip out. It's all about compromise.
I was literally
Come
going to
out in a
say
suit.
the word that is coming to mind is compromise.
If the bride wants the photos of you in the dress, and fine. And if you want to do that too, fine. Make a way to make it work.
Yeah, you could do it where you walk down the aisle in more of a traditional way, but then you made your entrance into your wedding breakfast wearing the superhero costume.
Yeah, or walk down the aisle in the superhero costume. But I do want to know, what is this fictional character? Like, how absurd are we talking? Because if you're like, I am Tinky Winky, then I'd be like...
But you could be Lala. There's a bit extra, because the disagreement over the costume led to such a heated argument that they eventually called off the wedding entirely. Again, I feel like it's not just about a costume, because it's not just about lasagna.
The costume principle.
Yeah.
What does Tinky Winky stand for?
It could be that he literally was not allowed to have any input in the wedding, and this was his one thing that he wanted.
Yeah.
And it was yet another thing that she wouldn't allow, and it was like, nope, that's it.
There are some people in the world who just want like the whole traditional thing, but I do think like if you make it fun. How many weddings do people go to? It's supposed to be a gorgeous celebration of your love. If it's not something that is you, why are you doing it?
Yeah. If you turned around and said, I don't want to wear a traditional dress, I want to wear this that's really meaningful. Sure.
I mean, I kind of did do that. We did it over 2 days.
That was still traditional bridal wear,
Yeah.
but just for a different culture.
But like shoes, I wanted to wear trainers. I was like, I don't want to
Your
wear
mum
heels.
was
And my mum
horrified.
was so mad. She's like, you're not wearing trainers on your wedding day. I was just like, you watch me.
And I just came in like a little devil, and I was like, what?
Why would you do things just because it's traditional?
Yeah. Do things that make you happy.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is as long as it's a good costume. Like not some like £10 thing from a crappy store that is baggy in all the wrong places and just looks cheap.
You know, like,
if
I
you
have
want
this
it for your
little
wedding, do it nicely.
Peach thing, this little like symbol peach, and it's so bad she's brown. Like it's been so badly done. Like her hair is not blonde and she is actually brown of skin, and it's
Brown of
she's
skin.
brown of skin, and I love it.
Brown of eyes.
But it's like, you know, when you can so clearly see that something is a knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
If you're going to do it for your wedding, splash out and get the good dinosaur costume.
Yeah,
Not that
bespoke.
nylon shit.
Tailored.
I don't know what
Fitted.
nylon is like.
So that it's not...
Latex.
Because you know what you don't want? You don't want it
A
baggy around your bum.
non-latex dinosaur. You want that sexy dinosaur.
For our vow renewal, you know the other day I showed
We're
you...
doing a vow renewal now.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
I showed you a video of somebody who dressed up as a balloon dog.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
I
that's
want
really
to
funny.
wear that yellow one. Thanks. Agreed.
Love Jones.
Calling off the renewal.
What renewal? That's the chat.
The one that I sent out the dates for, but I haven't organised anything yet. Did you not get your invitation?
No.
Okay.
I went to my spam. What can I say? I was going to be a guest at a wedding and found out that it was cancelled 2 weeks before the date.
Well, at least you didn't show up.
The bride found out that the groom had gotten a significant discount on the price of the venue, and she was insanely angry that anything at her wedding cost less than premium.
You would love if we got a discount.
I would slap a bitch. Anybody who has this attitude, like what level of entitlement have you grown up with to feel like this is a rational thing to say? What the actual... Keep in mind, this was her dream venue that she had chosen. She was just mad
Sounded like
that
Moira.
her fiance was cheap or something. I was never super close to either of them, but the last I heard, they never ended up getting married.
Wow. It's not even as if this was a different venue that was cheaper and she was like, I didn't want to go for cheaper. I was happy with spending the money that we have on this wedding, and you booked the wrong venue because you wanted to save some pennies, which we didn't need to save. If that was a scenario, I could see it.
Imagine it being your birthday and going into the supermarket and finding your favourite cake and seeing that it's 50% off and being like, no.
I would buy two.
Get 2 wedding venues.
Yeah, do it twice.
I cannot believe.
This is horrific.
Do people like this actually exist?
I think so, yeah.
I would be putting that shit on a banner. I'd be using those savings to fly a plane that did the little smoke farting out of its butt that told everyone that I saved 50% off my wedding venue. I don't understand these. I don't understand.
If I
this
turn around and said, I've got our dream venue, because that's the other thing, it wouldn't just be your dream venue, it would be ours together
Yes.
because it's our wedding.
Yes.
Then I found our dream venue and I've got us 25% discount.
We'd be having good sex that night. I would not
Imagine
be
if you're-
cancelling the wedding.
Imagine if your reaction was like, pre-marriage divorce. We're not
What
getting
is
married.
pre-marriage divorce? Break up.
Breaking up.
That's the word.
Break up.
I can't.
Dumped.
I actually can't comprehend something as stupid as what we've just read.
Yeah. And you know, on that level of stupidity, that's all of them for this video.
I'm glad because this
yeah.
broke me.
Are you done?
This is just so dumb. It's so dumb.
It is.
I don't even understand.
It's like the people who are like, no, I'm not going to marry you because the engagement ring is too cheap. It's like, well, do you really love somebody then? If you would say no to marriage based off of the size of a ring.
These kinds of people, you would think that they'd be like bridezillas.
Yeah.
On top of everything. In which case, how did she know only 2
No,
weeks
she's
before the date?
probably like chosen it
And
then
like, here you go, husband
traditional
use
like,
your credit card.
Yeah, like book it, darling.
Wow.
Absolutely. And that's what are you doing with your mouth, madam?
I'm sad.
Okay.
It's
Well,
my-
let's wrap up the video.
Of sadness.
What might make you happy?
Do you have any stories of weddings that you didn't happen?
No, but I feel like you have one.
I did, and I've forgotten it. Wait, the bean flew away.
It's gone. How did you find that, Shaba?
Wild.
Are you glad that I had you on for this video?
I don't know. I am glad that our wedding went ahead and none of this happened.
Yeah, me too. I was going to say, if you're glad that our wedding went ahead.
Give this video a thumbs up
And
and
maybe subscribe.
because he's pretty cool.
Aww. What you could also do is go check out Shaba's channel. The link is in the description box. And something very fun over on that channel, that's maybe one of my favourite things, is we do a little podcast together, as we mentioned earlier in the video. So
We
please
do.
do go check that out.
There's
as
a
well.
lot of drama there, to be fair.
Yeah.
So if you do enjoy this kind of content, go and check out the podcast.
So yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love.
Much
Bye.
love. Bye.
I knew you would do something at some point in this video. Goodbye.